Hey everyone, Dockwell here, and welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be a Beastmaster build for patch 7.36c, and this hero is basically the most overpowered or most popular hero in the offlane position right now, right along with Darkseer. Actually, Darkseer's win rate is a little bit higher, but this hero's pick rate is just off the charts, and that's why the win rate is a little bit lower, but the hero is still very, very good. And it's a little bit of a different playstyle than it used to be in the past, where you would go for Helm of the Overlord. It was all about the summons. Now that's kind of just an afterthought, and you really don't even go Helm of the Overlord anymore. You go kind of an Ags rush, and you farm Ancients, and the main reason for that is not only is the Ags good, but this Beast Mode facet is also really good, and you're going to be picking Beast Mode every single time. It's just way better for what you want to do on the hero right now. And what this Beast Mode does is it allows you to activate Inner Beast, and then you get more attack speed, and it applies the Wild Axe's damage amplification debuff on the target you're attacking. So when you combine this with the axes, with the Hawk running around stunning people, with you roaring them, and then with the drums that you're going to be rushing, or the drums of Slom, which is your Ags, that combined just makes this hero melt people. This hero is a super fast farmer. You get items really quickly, and then you just run at towers. You just run at people, and no one can deal with you. It's kind of insane how powerful this hero is right now. So I'm going to jump in. I'm going to show you how to build the hero from the laning stage on with the items, and how to build a skill build, and what to think, or how to think about the hero in the game and the strategy to use this hero to its utmost effectiveness to snowball the game and absolutely destroy games right now from the offlane position. So now we can take a look at the item build for the hero, and the starting items are usually going to be at least one set of tangos, pretty much one set almost every time, 3 iron branches almost every time, and magic stick every time. Now, the reason why I don't say circlet every time is because you can definitely buy this, and you definitely can end up getting a bracer. That's definitely an option in the early game, but sometimes you may actually just want to straight up buy your magic wand and then fill out your inventory with branches, and that's kind of all you really want to do early, and you don't necessarily want to get that bracer, because really what we're trying to do is we're trying to rush Ags as fast as possible. So if you feel like you really need that bracer for the laning stage, because it's going to be a hard lane, you can definitely get it, but a lot of times you can just get that magic wand early, and that's going to be good enough, and then maybe buy some extra regen if you need it. That way you can just go straight in for Arcane Boots and then Ags as quick as possible, because that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be buying Arcane Boots just straight up, because it just helps you with spamming all your spells, and spamming your spells is what we're going to be doing, and then we're going to be going Ags just first item. And now before I talk about these other items, the way you're going to be getting Ags super quickly and super early is by using your boars to stack Ancients. And because now there's 2 Ancients basically in the off lane, kind of behind your tower at a safe place where you can pretty much easily stack them, you're going to be wanting to focus the hero, the time you're spending on getting those boars to stack Ancients as much as possible. Even yourself as your hero, you can stack Ancients as well. So that's what you're going to be wanting to do. Yes, you're going to be laning, getting last, all that kind of stuff, but really it's more important to get Ancients stacked as much as possible so you can clear them, and that with your axes, and that's how we're going to be getting Ags super quickly. And that's also why we're just rushing Ags and getting none of these other like small items other than maybe the wand and then the Arcane Boots, so we can still sustain in lane and spam our axes and all that kind of stuff. And that's all we really need, because this is going to be our early game timing, and the faster we can get this, the more we can dominate the game with this Drums of Slom and just destroying people. Because then once we get this, we'll be level 8, 9, whatever it is, we'll have our ult, we'll just run at people, run down towers, and it's very, very hard to fight into a Beastmaster at that point. And so those are the early game items. Then from there, it's all just stuff to make what you're doing even better. So blinking in and just roaring people, and then using your abilities to just click them down and kill them is going to be really, really good. Obviously, you just get that jump, so you might be able to walk up to a tower and hit the tower, and then if you see a guy, you literally just jump on him and you just instantly kill him, and that's what's going to happen. Or obviously you can gank with this, those kinds of things. It's pretty straightforward. Then you're going to need BKB, obviously. This is a really good item in general. It's always been a good item, but it's good because you are jumping in and you're kind of putting yourself in harm's way, and if they can't lock you down, you are going to kill that target that you're stunning and you're doing a ton of damage to. Like, it's almost guaranteed to happen, unless they have something like an Oracle or something that stuns you through BKB, but this just makes it so it's so hard to deal with you when you do jump in. And then from there, this is like the main build, and we can kind of go in many different directions, but I still would say that Shiva's is going to be the item that you're going to be getting in most games once we get to this kind of late game item, path that we can choose. So that's why I'm putting it here in core items, because I think it's really, really good right now, because you are spamming axes, because you have all this damage that you're doing with spells and things like that. I think Shiva is just going to be really good. It's also good for offlaners in general with the high armor. You're putting yourself in harm's way with the slow, all that kind of stuff. You want to be running people down after their roar is over, and then you're running people down obviously with the hawk as well. It's stunning them, so it can just be very, very good to have this Shiva. It's a pretty good item. It's not as good as maybe it once was a few patches ago when it was literally OP, but it still is very, very good. And then from there, we can kind of do a little bit of whatever we want. You're probably going to get the shard. It's not the best thing ever, but it is pretty good. So it's not like you're going to be rushing shard by any means, but it is good to get, later in the game. And then you can even get refresher. If you feel like you're just at a good spot, all you need is really 2 roars and, maybe 2 BKBs, and that's all you need. Great, just get the refresher. Or if you just want to go all in on, more armor, more right click, we can go for the assault cuirass. You can upgrade your blink to give you more strength, the overwhelming blink. You can even get boots of travel later on in the game. This is pretty straightforward. It's just kind of like amping up the things you already do. It's all luxury items, and honestly, by the time you have all these items, you probably should have won the game like before that. Like, you might not even get to Shivas before you win the game, because you should be snowballing the game so hard on the hero, because that's kind of the nature of the hero. But then we can also go into some situational items, which you'll see pros buy on the hero sometimes. Sometimes they will go for Guardian Greaves just because it's a natural way to upgrade your arcane boots, and it can be good because although you're not like an aura bot really, and that's not how you're building in the beginning of the game, if you see it's all about your kind of single target, you're running at people, that kind of stuff, it can be good to transition a little bit away from that once you have your Ags and your Blink and stuff like that, your BKB. It's okay, well, I need to help my team a little bit, so I'm going to round it out with some Guardian Greaves, maybe even a Pipe, maybe even a Crimson Guard, because I do need to help my team in that way. I'm really tanky, I'm hard to bring down, I'm doing a lot of damage, I'm going to help my team because I don't need to scale anymore, myself specifically. Or maybe you'll get the Lincolns because really they have a single target for you, or maybe this is even to help your allies as well, and getting those stats is pretty good. Then we have like kind of rare things like Heaven's Halberd. Maybe you're against a Troll or an Ursa, Lotus, or maybe there's just tons of, there's like a lot of things that you need to dispel, and BKB's not good enough, so you don't have other dispels, and you're not buying Manta or anything on this hero. So this can be a good thing if you need more dispels, which is also Wind Waker too. It's just not the best. I don't think Wind Waker is great on the hero. Wind Waker's just OP, so that's why I put it in here. Maybe you just need way more lockdown, you can go for Scythe. Maybe you don't just need more spells, and you can go for Octarine, although this isn't the best on this hero. It is still pretty good. Helm of the Overlord is definitely still viable in some sense. People will buy it in some games. It's just weird because with this item, you want to get it as fast as possible, because having an early Ancient Creep is way more powerful than if you get it in like the 40-minute range. The Ancient Creeps at that point are not really that great, and the enemy carry and mid or even off lane and stuff are just going to be able to kill the creep really quickly. So if you don't get it early, it's not as good, and you're going to rush Ags every game. Like pretty much every game you're rushing Ags, and then you want these other items. So it's kind of weird to go Ags and then back in for a Helm of the Overlord. So that's why it's in this situation. It's a little bit awkward. If you were going to go this item, I would say you would just skip Ags and just go straight into it. But again, I wouldn't recommend that for in almost any game. Then you can just go all in on like magic damage, just go Dagon. That is something that people do. And then sometimes Boots of Bearing maybe for just running people down, getting that movement speed, getting drums for the attack speed and everything, amping up everything you're already doing. But again, it's a little bit awkward, especially since you want to be getting arcane boots early. That's why it's in the situational items as well. So that's the build for the hero. And again, this is pretty much straightforward early game. Ags, Blink, BKB, these are the items you're probably going to be getting almost every time. And you should be honestly crushing the game at that point. Then we can go into the skill build. So the skill build, it looks like there's Inner Beast here, but really you're going to be going Axes first. And you're going, let me level up here a little bit. Spam it up to 25. You're going to be going for Axes. Then Boar, and you're going to be wanting to max out Axes, then Boar again, then Axes again. You're not going to be getting the Inner Beast really at all early, and then Primal Roar at level 6, and then finally maxing out Axes. So you want some Beasts, some Call of the Wild, some of these Boars, and the Hawks for the laning stage. It is pretty good. It's still good for harassing and slowing people and getting last hits and all these different things, but really it's mainly for stacking, like I said, for stacking the Ancients, stacking the big camp even, and just being able to clear that early on in the game. So that's why you're putting a couple points in here. But really, it's all about the axes, because we're going to use these to clear through the ancients and the big camp after we stacked it, you know, after the laning stages kind of died down 6 minutes plus. And so that's what you're going to be doing with the wild axes. And then from there, you can max out your boars and hawks, and then obviously get your primal roar whenever you can. And then lastly, we would max out inner beast. Now, obviously, this is going to be very good to activate with your facet, but again, it's really more about getting the ags, jumping in, killing them, slowing them, stunning them, all that kind of stuff. And you're going to be able to do all that damage that you need without maxing out this inner beast early. So it's fine to get that later. Then for talents, you're going to be going for this 2% wild axis damage, because early on, obviously, it's all about the axes. Now, obviously, you're spamming the axes in the beginning of the game before you're even level 10 to clear the ancients and things like that. But even early on in the game, once you do get this level 10 timing, your axes are still going to be very, very good damage. So you're going to be spamming and killing people when you're running them down. You really wouldn't get this magic resist at all. So it's pretty much going to be this every single time. The attack speed is one you can definitely go. 15 is kind of an either or. People get the movement speed more if you just check, you know, what they're picking. But this one is a little bit greedier, and you can go all in on that. It just move speed is very good, because running people down, letting you stick on them with the slow of the board, all that kind of stuff is also very good. Then getting this max health aura to your units is also very good. You can get this as well. This is also another one where it's like a greedy versus just getting the health, which is pretty good. Again, you're not going for the helm of the Overlord, but this is still very good for what you're doing, because the slow and this stun, especially just running people down, is pretty important. So we're going to be picking that. And then minus 30 primal roar cooldown, because by 25 the axis is not really the thing anymore, because now the ags is this drums. You know, having that no cooldown axis it's good. Obviously, it's a decent ability, but really having a 30-second cooldown primal roar is kind of insane, because this is really a thing that is going to allow you to stick on targets and kill them full to zero with all of your abilities. Obviously at 25, people are a lot more tanky these days, but this primal roar ability is just really, really good. Any stun through BKB like that is going to be very, very good. So that's going to be the best one, because you're not really going to be spamming a lot of wild axis damage at that point. So that's the talent tree. Then obviously we're going to be getting the attributes and the other talents whenever we can past 25. So that is Beastmaster. That's the build for patch 7.36 C. And like I said, other than the build, the items and the skills, farming ancients is a huge thing. I've said it already a couple times, but I just want to emphasize that. That is the main thing you're doing, stacking and farming ancients. That's how you build the hero, and that's how you play the hero in the early game. And that's how you are going to get this early axe timing and then start running people down and snowballing the game. So that is Beastmaster. That's the build. Let me know if you guys liked the video, and if you did, like, comment, subscribe, all those kinds of things. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.